again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. We are in Newcrest today and we are building I'm pretty sure I'm going to be calling this house a cozy family home. This house has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It is for 5 Sims, I believe, just off the top of my head, plus the family pet, whether that be a cat or a dog. And I was just feeling really sort of inspired to build just like a typical cozy suburban family home. So that is exactly what I am doing here today. I did find a reference image on Pinterest that I will pop on the screen for you now so that you can see sort of what I was aiming towards. I don't think it's exactly as the reference image. I just found this and I thought it was really cute, and so I thought, yes, I can definitely use this as a loose inspiration for the house that I am building today. Now, I did realise that this house has a relatively similar exterior colour scheme compared to a house that I built about a month ago at this point. The only difference being the windows are completely different, the siding is the same, the roof texture and pattern is different, and then I did use these shutters from Horse Ranch as well, but again in a different swatch. So that's what I'm meaning, like it's not exactly the same, but it's definitely, I don't know, like it's kind of similar. So I didn't actually realize this until I finished the house and I was like, oh no, this is not the same, just sort of similar. You might agree or disagree with that, I'm not entirely sure, but just know it wasn't intentional. And the reason that I went for this lighter color scheme is because I believe the reference image has already gone off the screen at this point, but if I'm not mistaken, I did stick with kind of the color scheme that the reference image had. It was just really soft but had like pops of brown, I think, although was the reference image yellow? I can't even remember at this point like what color the reference image was, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The exterior shape has already come together, which I thought, I'm gonna be honest, I sat down yesterday, so today is Sunday at the time of me recording this voiceover. Today is Sunday and I sat down yesterday, so yesterday being Saturday, and this was my 5th attempt at a build. My 5th attempt. All I wanted to do was make a really cozy suburban family house. You wouldn't think that was too difficult, but sometimes I sit down and try and build something and I'm like, I hate everything that I am building, nothing's working out for me, and then I just get really frustrated with everything. And yeah, so that was what happened yesterday. Then I came across this reference image on Pinterest and I was like, okay, I might have been saved here. And then I did end up loving this house. Is it my favourite family house that I've ever done? No, it's not. But it's really cute, it's cozy, it has really nice family-friendly vibes. It comes in just under 90,000 simoleons as well, which is really good. I think it, I don't know, like for me, when I was building this, I would have thought this house would have been a little bit more expensive than that, but it wasn't. And then you might have also noticed there that the screen, it didn't freeze, it just... My dog Harley was trying to get up on the chair that's just behind me. You might be familiar with it if you've seen my on-camera videos. I have a chair just on the behind me on the right hand side, and that's where Harley likes to fall asleep. And he can't, I'm not going to say he can't. He absolutely can get up there by himself, but he refuses, and I have to like lift his bum up to allow him to actually get onto the chair. So I had to do that, which is why the screen sort of paused for a second, because I had literally had to come away from my computer to help my dog up onto the chair. So just wanted to make that small disclaimer there, because you might be thinking, oh, have I frozen? Has something happened? No, nothing has happened, thankfully. But just speaking about freezing, etc., I have a very, very, very annoying glitch in my game currently where if I use the eyedropper tool to obviously duplicate an item, there's like a good 3 to 5 second delay before the game goes, oh, you want to copy and paste an item, do you? And then it appears. And it's really funny because this I'm gonna class it as a glitch because it's kind of glitchy. Normally it's just immediate. I click that button and then I'm able to just do what I need to do. The delay is really irritating, and the last time we got an update for the game, this exact same thing happened. So I just found it quite interesting that we've just had an update for the game and my game is doing the exact same thing again. But then when I was nearing the end of the build, that glitch had seemed to rectify itself really randomly without me even restarting the game. It just seemed to be a little bit more responsive. So I don't know if anyone else is having that glitch. I know there are people out there that are having far worse glitches than that. Thankfully, so far, and don't get me wrong, since the update, I've only built in this game. Obviously, because I'm primarily a builder in the Sims 4 community. But thankfully, that seems to be the only glitch that I have come across so far. I know there are people out there that are experiencing really bad glitches since the recent update, and it's like my heart goes out to you genuinely, because it's always such a minefield when an update for the game is released, not only with mods and things like that, but even if you play completely vanilla, like no mods, no CC or anything, there's always that really, really sort of scary moment where you think, oh no, what if my game breaks? My game could break with this update. And so, yeah, it's frustrating as heck. It really is. And I know that the updates need to be applied to the game for obvious reasons. But yeah, it's always such a tense moment where you think, oh my, is my game even going to load in? Or is it not? I'm still experiencing a glitch that I know most of us are experiencing, whereby if you try and load into the game and then like a pop-up comes up, so it might be advertising something or reminding you that an event's still on or whatever, and then you click the X to come out of it, and then you just can't access the game at all, so you've got to force quit it. I am still having that problem. It's not happening as often as it used to, don't get me wrong, but it's still happening often enough where it's super irritating. So I'm hoping that that's something that they look at, because it's just like, I know there's so many people that are having that exact problem. But anyway, I'm going to stop complaining, because I don't want this voiceover to be primarily me just complaining about stuff. Anyway, the exterior, as I was saying, has come together really nicely. We've worked on the landscaping, we've got down the sort of exterior color scheme, and now we're just adding, I'd say the final touches, but I still think there's quite a bit of work to do on the exterior before we move on to the interior. So again, just bringing the landscaping from the front to the back, because if you are familiar with the way that I build, that is just something that I do. I try and replicate the exact same landscaping at the front to the back. I don't know whether everybody does this. I don't know whether it's just a me thing. I'm not entirely sure. But this here is where I was starting to get really frustrated with the eyedropper tool lagging between me clicking on the eyedropper tool, clicking on the image, on the item that I wanted to eyedrop, and then the game actually providing me with the replicated item. So that was when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a bunch of them, and then I can just place them as and where I need to place them, if that makes sense. And I also feel like my office chair just made like a really weird noise. So if you heard like a little bit of a, wasn't really a pop, I don't know, then that's what that was. So anyway, and then I was like, okay, we need a pathway leading to the back garden. So I do add this little pathway here, which I think looks really nice actually. And then I also decided, I was like, okay, that looks a little bit weird with the paving at the front, so I do change this out for this one here just to make it match. And then I was really tempted to not work on the back garden and just move on to the interior. And then I was like, no, let's get everything on the outside completed, including the back garden, and then we can move on to the interior. So I do start working on the back garden here. There's quite a lot of kid activities in this garden, which was really important to me because I knew that I wanted this to be like a really wholesome, cozy, family-friendly house. And so I was thinking, okay, well, I wanted there to be plenty of activities for the kids to get involved in the back garden, as well as the parents as well. And I just need to talk about that rug that I put underneath those sun loungers. I just thought it looked so unbelievably perfect, and it looks like an outdoor rug, but you could definitely use it inside as well. So I was like, oh, it just looks so good. And then this is where I start working on the floor plan for this house, and this is where I realized that this house was not quite as big as I had thought it was. I definitely thought when I was moving on to the inside of this house, I was like, it's going to be 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, there's going to be a playroom. No. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the main bedroom is on the ground floor. So something to note, the main bedroom is on the ground floor of this house, because as you can see, the entire upper floor is considerably smaller than the ground floor of this house, which is obviously intentional because you can see from the exterior the house is bottom heavy. So it did make sense. But yeah, when I moved on to the interior of this house, I was like, oh, I don't think I'd planned for this. It's a very nice sized house. It's not overwhelming in any way, shape or form. It, I think, would function really, really well in gameplay too. So if you do end up playing with this house, I really hope it's everything that you hope it would be, because there are certain houses that I create and I just think, oh, that would be so nice and so good in gameplay, and I just think it's a really good size. Again, it's not overwhelming, it's just right, at least I think so. Now, the first room that we work on is the living room here. This house is heavily green themed. If you do follow me on YouTube, or sorry, if you are subscribed to me on YouTube, you might have seen the posts that I've been putting up today regarding this house. And if you haven't, then that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. But you might have seen some sneak peeks of the interior of this house. And I don't know if anybody else was getting from that, okay, Rach has gone quite heavy with the green with this one. I feel like green is not really a colour that I explore too often in The Sims. And so I just wanted to try something a little bit different with this house. And so I do think it works really well. So there's a lot of soft, creamy tones mixed with the green, with pops of other colours such as pink and yellow and things like that. And I would I'm just looking back on this footage now. I would like to apologise first and foremost for the jumping around in this room. I really struggled because I knew that I wanted to go for like a creamy colour scheme with the green. I struggled to find I knew I wanted to use this sofa. I knew that first and foremost. And then I struggled to find armchairs that I wanted to put with this sofa. And then I was like, do I add a love seat and then 2 armchairs? And it was just like, it was a bit of a mess. And so it did take me just a little while to get into the groove. But I did get into the groove, and I am really, really pleased with the end result here. And this is my first time seeing the brand new mudroom kit, which I do genuinely really, really like it, because if you are familiar with my content, if you are familiar with my channel, then you will know that most of my houses have an entryway, and then at the back of the house I always add a door or doors to the back garden. And so I have this really weird sort of room, and I always class it as like a weird room. And I'd say in recent sort of videos I've been trying to explore making it into a bit more of like an office space. But with this introduction of this new kit, I was like, okay, so I can have an official mudroom in my house now. And it was really nice. So the items in it are really beautiful. I can see me using, so these flowers on the table are from that new kit. They are genuinely stunning. I used them twice in this house alone. So I used them in the white swatch in the living room, and then again in the kitchen, but in the pink swatch I ended up choosing. So yes, I can see me using them a lot. I can see me using them so much in future videos. But yeah, the kit is genuinely stunning. I have not yet had a chance to check out the cast kit, but I'm sure that is equally as stunning. I think it's like a glam cast kit. I can't remember the official name of it. I do apologize for the ignorance there. I can't remember the official name of it, but it's some sort of like glam kit where your Sims have access to more like glam makeup. And from what I've seen on social media, some of the creators that have checked that out, it does look genuinely stunning. So I'm really keen to check that out next time I am in a cast, whenever that will be. But the living room has come together really nicely. I did end up changing the fireplace because this one from Growing Together, it has my entire heart, mind, body and soul. It is so beautiful. And if I get the chance to use this fireplace, you'd best believe I am using it. So I did provisionally put down a base game one in there just so that I could, before I started working on the floor plan, I wanted to just see the sizing of the rooms. So what I will do sometimes is I'll put like placeholder items down just to see to make sure the size of the room is suitable for what I want to add in here. So I think I added a 3-seater sofa, 2 love seats, and then just a fireplace, just because I wanted to see if everything would fit, and it did. So that was really good. And then I'm just adding some finishing touches to the living room here. So I have to put these little cushions on the sofa and then on the little armchairs as well. I think they look so gorgeous, and they just add that extra level of comfy coziness to the living room space. And then I was like, okay, so I'll change the swatch of this rug. And then I was like, I don't think I like this rug anymore. So then I tried a few other rugs, and then I did finally settle. Which one did I settle on? Was it this one? Did I choose this one? I did. I kept that. And I think the reason that I kept this is because it has the pops of green, but you've also got elements of blue and then yellow in here as well, which I just thought fit the vibe a little bit better. I didn't want the interior of this build to look clinical in any way. I wanted it to feel warm and cozy. And then I do end up working on the entryway here. So this is where I go back to the mudroom kit and then just pull out some different items from there and sort of see how they could integrate with a hallway as well. And they integrated really, really well. And because we are on the hallway, I do feel like I should let you know that in the final version of this house, the stairway here, you can see it's 2 tiles wide currently. I do end up changing that to just a 1 tile wide stairway, because I came to the conclusion that I wasn't convinced your Sims could get past you see where the unit ends and the stairs start. I was like, I was having a look at the house. I was just doing a really quick run through, and I thought, there is no way that your Sims can fit through that tiny gap. There's just no way. And so I end up moving them in just a little bit, and then I add there's like a bench that came with the mudroom kit as well. I added that to the back just to try and utilize some of the space a little bit better as well. So that's something to note, just in case you were wondering. But yeah, so the entryway is done, and then this little back room here is what I was just referring to a couple of minutes ago when I was saying that all my houses have an entryway and then this really odd back room. Now, luckily with this house, because of the placement of the bathroom, it's a lot smaller than it would usually be. So I did find it quite easy to try and fill the spaces here. So I ended up doing that. And then I very quickly sort out the bathroom as well. Again, sticking with the green theme. If I'm doing a colour scheme in a house, I am sticking with it. So the bathroom's green, everything's green in this house, apart from the kids' bedrooms. And then the kitchen, I don't think the kitchen has too much green in it either, which is a good thing, because I was getting a little bit overwhelmed with the green. As much as I do think it looks amazing with this house. I think it fits the vibe really well. It got to be a little bit too much, but anyway, I digress. So then this is where we start working on the main bedroom here. Now, initially when I floor planned this house, I didn't even consider adding a bedroom down here, just because when I sectioned out and sectioned off all of the rooms, I was like, the rooms look like they're a pretty decent size, so I don't really want to take away from that. But if I had not have added this bedroom down here, the living room would have been just too big, far too big for this particular house. And so I am really glad that I added the main bedroom down here. And it just means as well that the kids of this family have the entire upper floor to themselves. They've got access to a bathroom up there too, which I thought worked quite well. And then I did decide as well to put a little bassinet in here. So I think this Sims family have just welcomed a new addition to the household, so that is why I did that. Obviously it's a little green bassinet as well, sticking with the green theme, and not to worry because we are about to move on to the kitchen, which we've just started. And this is where I definitely didn't make this room very green, but I did decide to use these counters from Life and Death because they're very, I think they look really high end, they look very chic, and I think this house does have that sort of really beautiful high end yet family friendly feel to it. So I just thought these counters fit really, really well with that sort of vibe. So I hope you agree with that, because I cannot tell you, I mean, I don't think I've ever used these counters, this kitchen set in this particular swatch. They look fantastic, and it just meant that I could keep everything really soft and just in keeping with the entire look and feel of this particular house. So I am genuinely pleased with how this looks. So you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. I don't tend to do colour schemes like this, I don't think. The sort of lighter and brighter ones. I tend to do more like warm with bold colours, but I definitely softened this house up for sure. And not to worry, I do realise I added these beautiful flowers again from the mudroom kit in this kitchen. First of all, I changed the swatch to a pink one, but I do that off camera. And then when I was dropping down, just having a look to see what the kitchen looked like from the dining room, I don't know if it's me that just does that, by the way, or if there's anybody else that does that. I came to realise that the hanging light that I had chosen to hang over the kitchen island, it was clipping directly into the flowers. How I didn't realise that at this point is quite baffling to me, because it's so obvious now. But please do not panic, that is changed before this house is uploaded, and then you'll see it as well in the screenshots at the end. I mean, that's assuming you stick around the video for that long. I personally do. If I'm watching somebody's speed build or somebody's build overview or whatever, I will like look at it at the end as well, because I really like to see how it's all come together, and with the music and everything, it's just, oh, it's such a vibe. But anyway, yes, that is changed. Then I did decide to add a little pet bowl, because I thought this family could have a cat or a dog, and that is just not something that I will typically add to my builds, even though I've talked about this many times on the channel before. I have 2 dogs of my own. My husband and I have 2 dogs, Harley and Maverick, and the amount of times that I just don't add a pet to a household in The Sims is quite frightening, really. I don't like to do it all the time, but I just think it's really important that they're included too, because they are part of the family. Anyway, then we move on to the dining room. So yes, this house does have a separate dining room. I just thought that was really nice. So your Sims are able to all enjoy family meals here, whether that be on an evening or at lunchtime, or, you know, for Winterfest or for Harvest Fest, I think it's called in The Sims. I'm pretty sure it's called Harvest Fest. You know, for birthdays, for family gatherings and things like that. I think this is definitely the main room that your Sims would be in. It's a really nice space, and I also love the fact that I decided to use a circular table in here as opposed to a rectangular one. I just think it works a little bit better, and it also meant that I was able to fit all these seats around it, so I thought that was really, really nice. And then I do add these little bookcases here from the Growing Together pack. I just think that I do love these. They've got this really modern, again, sophisticated twist to them, and I love the fact that there's 2 different ones, so when you place them side by side, they are different. I've noticed that they've started doing that with bookcases, and I absolutely love the fact that they're doing that now, because it just makes things look a lot less uniform, which is a really good thing, because obviously in houses, especially family houses, typically not everything is uniform and not everything is super in place. So I definitely appreciate that as someone who enjoys building family houses primarily on the channel. I try to dabble in other things as well every now and again, but family houses is definitely my wheelhouse. It's definitely where I feel most comfortable and where I have the most fun. And then I was thinking, okay, so I want to add something into this little corner here, and I remembered that we have this really beautiful corner piece from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, and so I was like, okay, I definitely would love to add that here. And then we move on to the upper floor. Now this is where we start working on the upstairs bathroom, which I think really only the kids use. I'm going to be honest, I don't think the parents often use this particular bathroom unless they are bathing their youngest. So I don't think I've really spoken about the family dynamic, although I think I've been talking about it as and when we've been placing the relevant items or doing the relevant rooms. But obviously we've got the parents, they have a newborn child, and then they have a young daughter. So I think this daughter is definitely a child. She's not a teen. This is definitely a younger family. I've been realizing that I've been building quite a lot of houses recently that have like teenagers and older children. So with this particular house, I wanted to change that up just a little bit, and I wanted this family to be a little bit younger. So yeah, 2 parents, the newborn, we've got a child in here. Her room is so fun. It's definitely my favorite room of the house. I think I do love the living room. I really like the kitchen and how that turned out, but this is, okay, let's say that this is my favorite bedroom of the house. I think it looks really fun. I do play around with a lot of colors in here. I do end up changing the bed in just a moment because I don't know, I added this. That was why I added this dresser from the high school years pack, and then I was like, okay, I need to use this bed from the high school years pack as well, because we all know how much I love this bed, and it feels like it's been a while since I've used it. So I was like, okay, let's pop this down and see what we can come up with. And then the entire color scheme did change because I think primarily there's a lot of yellows, greens, blues and pinks in this particular room. So I love it when things don't quite match, but they also match. Does that make sense? Does anyone else get that vibe from this room? And another thing that I love about this dresser from the high school years pack is that it's got like little stickers on the top of it and on the front of it. And it's such a vibe, honestly. And I was like, okay, I need to use this. If I get the opportunity to use this dresser, you'd best believe I am using it. So I also pulled out the matching wardrobe here as well, and this child sim also has like a little drawing table just over in the corner here, so there's plenty of activities for her to be getting involved in her bedroom. I love kids' rooms that have activities in them because it just means that they can kind of come up into their own space and just spend some time by themselves, just chilling out, listening to music, doing some drawings, doing some crafts and stuff like that. And it just makes them, I think, a little bit more independent as well. As much as I love to add those activities to the communal family spaces too, I do really like adding more activities to the kids' rooms as well. So that's that room now done. And then we move on to the front room here, which I turned into a nursery for an infant. Now, in hindsight, I should have really done these bedrooms the other way around, because this bedroom is ever so slightly bigger, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think anyone's going to mind. I don't think anyone's going to care that that's the case. But yeah, I did decide to turn this into a room for an infant again, because I think it's been a little while since I've done an infant bedroom, particularly one with more of like a neutral brown toned sort of color scheme and theme. And I just wanted to see if I could pull this off. Is it my favorite nursery I've ever done? No, it's not, but it's still really cute. I love the pops of the dark brown, like the chocolate woods in here. I think it looks really cute. There's bookcases in here. There's like a little play mat as well. There's some like little blocks on the floor as well. I do really like how this room turned out, even though it's not my favorite of the house. And again, in hindsight, I probably should have switched these bedrooms around, but it's okay. We live and learn. And I think I also became a little bit overwhelmed with the entire space, because it is such a big room, particularly for an infant. I think I could have maybe turned this into an infant's room, but for like twin infants, because there was quite a lot of space. But I did end up adding this little quote-unquote dollhouse here too, because it says it supports infants. Not entirely sure what that means, but it says it supports infants, so I did decide to throw that down in there as well, just because I thought it looked really cute. But then we just add some more wall decor pieces to the walls, just to kind of try and bring everything in. And then we very quickly go outside to change up some bits, the windows in particular at the front here. So I do change them out for the bay window from Base Game, which I think looks a lot better. But that is pretty much it for this build and for this video. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to download this build, it's available from it's available, from the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files are listed just down below. You can get them from SimFileShare. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. You all take care, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye!